Welcome to my home for this Yoga Basics practice. I'm excited to share it with you today. So we will start seated, and you may have noticed that I am sitting actually on a bolster. So if you have a bolster in your home or a pillow or a blanket that you can roll up, maybe pause this for a second and go get it. For most of us, it is comfortable to sit slightly elevated. This helps our low back. And once you've found that, we will begin in this seated position. This is something called svasanana, easy pose. It's a nice place to start, but feel free to straighten out the legs and also to make any variations throughout this practice that you feel that your body needs. So from this svasanana position, or kneeling or straight legs, we'll place the palms down on the thighs, connect with that grounding energy. Take a moment to feel the sit bones rooting down into the earth. And then always at the beginning of practice, just take a moment to exhaust all the senses so that you can take this opportunity to go inward. Closing the eyes is one of the nicest ways to begin that. Closing the eyes helps us to just calm the sympathetic nervous system. And if it's comfortable for you to close the mouth and breathe through the nose only, please do that too. And then take a moment to listen as far as your ears can hear in the space where you are now. It's like your hearing is doing a giant sweep, like a radar sweep, picking up sounds far in the distance, identifying the sound without letting it distract you, and then moving on to find the next sound. When you feel that you've identified all the sounds and then let them go, bring your awareness to the sound of your own breath. Follow the inhalation, follow the exhalation, be the witness to any differences in their sounds. And then take a moment to feel the temperature of the air on your skin. Notice the places where your clothing contacts your skin. Notice if there are any smells in your space and experience them. And then let them go. And then with those eyes still closed, bring your awareness to that space behind the closed eyes. In Sanskrit, this place is known as Chitakasha, the place where light resides within darkness. In this place, we can visualize what we would like to bring to the mat tonight. Take a moment to look at that visualization. And then attach a word or a few words, positive action words to that visualization. And repeat them to yourself mentally 3 times. This is your intention for practice. In Sanskrit, it is known as a sankalpa, a vow to the truth. Visualize it as a seed that you have just planted in both mind and body, and which your practice will nourish. And now, keeping your eyes closed if you prefer, or opening them, bring your awareness back to the breath and simply follow the inhalation and the exhalation. And now let's bring some movement with that breath. As you inhale, lift the chest up and let the head comfortably release back. When the exhale arrives, flex through the spine, rounding, maybe pulling the navel toward the spine, pulling the chin toward the chest. 2 more cycles on that. Inhale. This is called seated cow. Exhaling to round, seated cat. And again, inhaling, seated cow. Exhaling, seated cat. And now inhaling to a nice, tall, neutral position. And exhaling, taking that left hand all the way over to your right hip and bringing that right arm around, moving into a gentle twist. Inhale to lift that spine up nice and tall, and exhale to move a little bit more into the twist. Inhaling to unwind from that twist, and exhaling, taking that right hand over to that opposite hip and that left arm around behind. Again, inhaling to lift up through the body and exhaling to move into the twist. Inhaling to unwind and come back to center, releasing those palms back down to the thighs, and then taking this opportunity to switch the position of this Sukhasana if you are in fact in Sukhasana. So the leg that's out farther from the body, bring it in closer, and the leg that was in closer, let it release a little bit forward. Reground through those sit bones, feeling that earth connection, and then making that earth connection, palms to the thighs again. Then let's go through our cow and cat again on this new change position for Sukhasana. So inhaling to lift the chest up toward the ceiling and releasing the head back as far as is comfortable for you. Exhaling to round, flexing the spine, maybe pulling the navel to the spine, chin toward the chest. 2 more times. Inhaling to find seated cow. Exhaling to find seated cat. And again, inhaling to find seated cow. Exhaling to find seated cat. Now inhaling to that nice, tall, neutral position. And exhaling to lower that right ear toward that right shoulder. Stay here for one nice inhale and exhale as you imagine lifting that left ear toward the ceiling. And then inhale that head up to neutral and exhale left ear toward the left shoulder. Staying here for one full breath cycle, and as you do that, imagine that you are lifting that right ear toward the ceiling. And then inhaling that head up to neutral. Lifting both shoulders up and rolling them down and back. Imagine that you are just sliding those hands forward and letting those fingers drape over those knees. Give a really gentle pull to see if you can find just a little more length in that spine. Crown of the head reaching toward the ceiling. Take one more nice inhale and exhale here. And then releasing those hands and bringing them to the shins so that you can just separate the legs a little bit and then bring those soles of the feet back together. So maintaining that contact between the hands at the shins, just above the ankles. Actively pull those heels in as close to the body as possible and let the knees stay in that kind of falling away position. If you'd like to, you can use your forearms to press on those inner thighs, still maintaining a nice tall spine. This is a great opportunity right now to close the eyes and feel what's going on in the hips, feel what's going on in the spine. And with those eyes closed, bringing awareness to the breath. And for the next 3 inhales, focusing on trying to reach that whole rib cage forward in space, just a tiny little bit. Another inhale, reach that rib cage forward just a little bit more, maintaining that nice length in the spine so that we maintain as much as possible that kind of arch in the low back. One more time, inhaling that rib cage forward, and then exhaling to find that nice tall spine again. Bringing the knees together, hugging in, nice tall spine. And then releasing that hug and coming around to a nice high kneel at the mat, moving that bolster or blanket, whatever you're sitting on, out of the way, if anything. In this high kneel, just checking in that the hips are right under the knees. And then finding Tadasana in the upper body, rolling the shoulders up and down, palms turning toward the front of your mat. Take a moment to just kind of make a mental note of where those hands are. They might be actually wider than the shoulders. This angle at the elbows is something called the carrying angle, and you might actually find it quite helpful to position those hands in this slightly wider position rather than aligning them with your shoulders when we come to our tabletop position. And one way to do that is to inhale the arms up, bringing them parallel to the floor, palms are facing the ceiling. And then maintaining steadiness in the upper arms, simply flip the palms to face the floor, to face down toward your mat. So they might be wider right now than shoulder width apart, and that's okay. That might work better for your shoulder joint. If you're used to lining the hands up with the shoulders and you've never had any shoulder injuries, just keep them there. Take a nice inhale where you are right now, and then as you exhale, pull the navel towards your spine and bring the body forward, planting those hands on the mat, and then just taking the knees back so that you can find a nice tabletop position. As you're in this tabletop position, check in with that grounding through the hands. So the fingers are wide, pressing the base of the index fingers firmly into the mat. And also maybe doing a slight gripping with the fingertips and the thumb to create an arch in the hand. So that arch in the hand is actually acting kind of like the arch in our foot, giving us a little more support through the arms and right up into the shoulders. Let's check in with our cow and cat again. So inhale, lift the chest up as much as possible, let the head come back, tailbone is lifted. And then exhale to flex through the spine, chin to the chest, and tailbone tucking in. 2 more times on that, inhaling to find that cow position, exhaling to find cat position. And again, inhaling to that cow position, exhaling to cat position. Inhaling to find a nice neutral position with the spine. And then bringing our hands to rest up on the fingertips. So again, nice strong arch in the hand, really energized through the fingers, energized through the arms, keeping the hips exactly where they are in space over the knees, and walking those hands out as far as you can without moving the hips. Arms are strongly lifting toward the ceiling. Take one extra inhale here, and then exhale to release that forehead right down to the mat. Finding that resting place on the mat, or maybe pulling your blanket over and resting there, keeping the arms energized toward the ceiling. This gives us a nice chest opening stretch. This pose is called Anahastasana, heart opening pose. Inhale to come back up with the body, and then walking those palms back to find that tabletop position. Now tucking the toes on your right foot and slide that whole foot back along your mat, keeping that connection to the mat with the toes and the ball of the foot. And then actively pushing that heel toward the wall that's behind you. Take another inhale and exhale here. And then sliding that knee back underneath the hip, untucking the toes. Tucking the toes on the left foot and doing the same thing, sliding that foot back along your mat. So maintaining contact between the base of the toes and the ball of the foot, and actively pushing that heel toward the wall behind you or the space behind you. Taking a nice inhale and exhale here. And then bringing that knee back underneath that hip. And then just taking a moment to kind of go inward, invite that water element, that kind of flowy element into your practice, maybe slithering like a snake, or maybe you would prefer to make circles with your whole body over the wrist. If you're making circles, be sure to seamlessly change the direction after, say, 3 circles. And then finding steadiness and stillness again in this tabletop position. Tucking the toes in both feet. Taking a nice inhale right here. And then exhaling to lift the knees up just an inch or 2, and then releasing down. And then again, a nice inhale. And then exhale to lift the knees up just a little bit higher, and then releasing down. One more inhale. And then exhaling to lift the knees up and push your rib cage toward your thighs, releasing the head. so that the sit bones are reaching, back or up a little bit. Actively staying grounded through your hands. Maybe bicycling out through the heels to wake up the calves a little bit more. And then finding stillness in both feet, pushing the heels toward the mat. Take a moment to see where you can go with this. Bend both knees about an inch. Keep the head relaxed. Push the rib cage toward your thighs, and then see if you can straighten out those legs again. From this downward facing dog position, begin to walk the feet in toward the hands, keeping that forward fold, feet landing underneath the hips. And then just bring awareness to your forward fold. And if you find that in that place, when you find straight legs, your hands are hanging in space, connect them with the shins, or actually the muscles alongside the shins. Then release into the fold, and it might help to pull the navel toward the spine. That releases the muscles in the low back. And now bringing awareness to your feet and connecting with that earth energy, the soles of the feet, base of the big toes pressing into the mat, and imagining that your feet are super glued to the mat and trying to drag away from each other. This brings an energy up the sides of the legs, and then helps us to maintain control of our low back as we inhale and circle the arms up overhead, palms to touch, gazing at the palms if that feels comfortable, and then exhaling, hands to the heart center. And I find that it always feels nice at this point when we've changed elevation to take a moment to close the eyes and just connect with the soles of the feet to the mat. So if it feels like your body weight is kind of weighted over one foot more than the other, then just shift around and then connect with that body weight equally balanced over both feet. Take a moment to lift all 10 toes and spread them really wide, and then release them down. Thumbs are connecting to that breastbone and just taking a moment to feel the energy circulating in the body. And then if you'd like to, if you have closed your eyes, feel free to open them. We'll make our way slowly through a classical sun salutation, as this is a really great opportunity to stretch out the hips and also connect with those downward facing dogs again. So let's inhale and circle the arms up overhead, feeling free to gaze at the hands if that feels comfortable. And then exhaling to fold over the body. And again, to protect the low back, it may feel good to pull the navel to the spine and imagine the feet pulling away from each other. Then release the hands to the mat. Let the head relax. Take one inhale and exhale here. And then inhale to step way back with your right foot and lower that back knee down to the mat. Take a moment here to check in with the upper body. It's like you're reaching the rib cage forward. And in a way, you could think of this as cow in the upper body. Take a nice inhale and exhale here. Feeling that nice stretch through the front of the right hip. And then one more inhale to find that cow in the upper body. And then exhale, planting your hands and making your way back to a downward facing dog. So feet are hip width distance or wider. The hands are actively pressing into the mat to push your rib cage toward your thighs. Take one nice inhale here, and then exhale to lower both knees down to the mat. This is a variation on the classical sun salutation that works really nicely in terms of a yoga basics class to move slowly into this flow. Take a nice inhale here, and then exhale to bend the elbows and reach the chest and the chin down toward the mat. This is working toward a pose called Ashdasana, 8-pointed pose. Take another inhale and exhale here. And then inhale to slither forward onto the belly and Let the hands kind of land right beside the rib cage with the fingertips in line with the nipples. This is Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. If you would rather, feel free to bring those forearms forward, elbows under the shoulder, to a Sphinx pose. And in both of these poses, imagining that you're reaching the rib cage forward, again, like you're finding that cow in the upper body. Taking one more nice inhale here. And then exhaling to press back to downward facing dog. Always letting the head relax in that downward facing dog. Taking an extra inhale and exhale right here. And then when the next inhale comes into the body, bringing that right foot forward between the hands and lowering that back knee. And again, taking an extra inhale and exhale right here to find that cow in the upper body. One more inhale to reach that rib cage forward. And then exhale to step that back foot forward underneath that hip. So feet are hip width distance apart. Again, hands can come to your shins if you find they're hanging in space. And again, rooting down through the base of the big toes and imagining those feet are dragging away from each other. Inhale to circle the arms up overhead, palms to touch, gaze at them again if it's comfortable. And then exhale, hands to the heart center. Maybe closing the eyes again and just checking in. Relaxing the shoulders down and back, reaching the crown of the head toward the ceiling. And then let's do the same thing, leading with the left leg. So inhale, circle the arms up overhead, palms to touch. Exhale to fold over the body, and again, to protect the low back, it might feel good to pull the navel toward the spine and to imagine the feet dragging away from each other. Hands come to the mat, knees can bend here as much as necessary. Take an extra inhale and exhale here to find that fold. And then inhale to step way back with the left foot and lowering that knee to the mat. And again, just taking an extra moment here to find that cow in the upper body, reaching the rib cage forward. One more inhale, still maintaining that cow in the upper body. And then exhaling back to that downward facing dog. Fingers are wide, hands are grounded, head is released, feet are hip width distance or wider. Take a nice inhale here. And then exhale to lower both knees to the mat. Again, this is a variation, just breaking down the steps of lowering. Take another inhale right here. And then exhale to bend the elbows and reach the chest and chin to the mat. And if possible, those arms are kind of hugging the body. Take an extra inhale and exhale right here. And then again, inhaling to slither forward onto the belly and finding this Bhujangasana. Hands are planted beside the rib cage. And one way to find that cow in the upper body is to actively press the hands into the mat and imagine that they're dragging back, and that releases that rib cage forward, helping you to find a deeper back bend. And then again, reminder that you could also be in Sphinx pose here. Again, the forearms can press into the mat and imagine dragging them back to find that cow in the upper body. One more inhale here, cow in the upper body. And then exhale back, downward facing dog. Take one extra inhale and exhale right here. And then inhale to step that left foot forward between the hands, lower that back knee, and then find that cow in the upper body again. So one more inhale, reaching that rib cage forward. And then exhale to step that back foot forward under its hip. Imagine the feet are grounded to the earth again, maybe dragging them away from each other to protect the low back. As you inhale, circle the arms up overhead, palms to touch. And exhale, hands to the heart center. So that was one round of a sun salutation, which kind of warms up the body a little bit, which feels good, and we'll take an opportunity to do a few just single poses to stretch other parts of the body and to strengthen as well. Yoga is so beautiful because it stretches and strengthens. So keeping those feet in those hip width distance apart. Inhale, bring the arms up overhead so that the palms are shoulder width apart. And then exhale to bend the knees and the hips to sit in that imaginary chair. This pose, Uttanasana, chair pose. Follow the breath here. As you inhale, see if you can find buoyancy in the arms. And as you exhale, see if you can ease into that imaginary chair a little bit more. One more inhale, buoyancy in the arms. Exhale to sit into that chair a little bit more. Lift all 10 toes and then release them down. And then next inhale, coming all the way up to standing. And exhale, hands to the heart center. Maybe taking a moment to close the eyes and just feeling the body. Feel your connection to the earth. And then open the eyes again now. We'll do a nice balancing pose, tree pose, Vrikshasana. Shifting your body weight to your left foot. Bending the right knee and opening that knee to the side and then sliding that heel over that opposite ankle. And just take a moment right here. We've narrowed the base of support. And so take a moment to find your balancing in that. And then feel your grounding down through your left foot. Maybe pulling the navel to the spine and squeezing the shoulder blades very slightly to feel that connection of muscles coming inward for balance. When you are ready, follow the breath. And on an inhale, bring your foot up to your calf muscle or possibly right up to the muscle of the inner thigh. As soon as your foot connects with the muscle, imagine that the muscle is resisting that pressure of the foot. That really helps you to keep your stability. Palms at the heart center for a moment. Feel your grounding down through your left foot. Feel that muscle to foot connection very strongly. And then when you're ready, inhale to bring those arms up to our full expression of tree pose. Feel that grounding down through your left foot, especially through the base of the big toe. And then if you'd like to invite a little opening through the chest, release the arms down so they're parallel to the ground, palms facing up, and pull those thumbs back to the wall or space behind you. Take one nice inhale here, feeling that chest opening, and then exhale to bring those palms back together at the heart center. One more inhale here. And then exhale to release that knee forward and foot returns to the mat. Take a moment to just walk it out. Palms are still at the heart center, thumbs touching the breastbone. Take a moment to find stillness in the feet and close the eyes again for a moment and feel that earth connection, soles to your mat. Then open the eyes and focus on something steady. Shift your body weight to the right leg now. Bend the left knee and open it to the side. Slide that heel over that opposite ankle and just take a moment right here to feel this narrower base of support. And if you would like to, return to this position at any time or to even simply just stay here to have this sense of kind of grounding down through the right foot. If you would like to bring that left leg up, follow your breath, and when an inhale arrives, bring the foot to the calf muscle or to the inner thigh, pushing that foot into the muscle and resisting with the muscle. So that foot to muscle connection is like a really powerful place of stability for you. The navel can be pulled toward the spine, still breathing. Shoulder blades can squeeze slightly. Crown of the head reaching toward the spine. Grounded through that right foot. And then especially that grounding foot to muscle, muscle to foot. Follow your breath, and when you're ready for it, Inhaling to bring those arms up to a full expression of tree pose. Stay here, feel the grounding through your right foot. And then let's maybe adding that heart opening a little bit by releasing the arms down so they're parallel to the floor, palms facing up, thumbs pulling back. Take one nice inhale here. And then exhale to bring those hands together at the heart center. Take one more nice inhale here. And then exhaling to release that knee forward. And then placing that foot back down on the mat. Wiggling the feet out, maybe closing the eyes to just check in, to feel that connection between the soles of your feet and the mat. Now taking a nice inhale, circle the palms up overhead. Exhaling to fold over the whole body again. Hands come down to the mat. Taking one nice inhale to straighten out the legs a little bit. Exhaling, pull the navel to the spine, fold a little bit more. And then from here, bringing one knee down to the mat, and then the other. Bringing the big toes to touch, taking the knees wide, and pressing those hips back toward those heels. And if you feel that they're not connecting, if you feel like there's a big space between your hips and your heels, maybe using a blanket if you have one, or a bolster if you have one, and just placing it between the hips and the heels so that you feel that those hips are connecting with something for support. And once you have that support, exhaling to release the forehead down to the mat. The arms can reach forward, or if you prefer, you can take the hands back to the heels and maybe snug yourself in a little bit to this child's pose, Balasana. Staying here in this Balasana for 5 breaths. After that 5th exhalation, inhaling to press yourself up to a kneeling position if that is comfortable for you. And if it is not, make your way to any position that feels comfortable. Sukhasana, seated legs straight out. Bring the palms to the thighs again and close the eyes for just another moment of grounding. And then sliding those hips off the heels and making your way onto your back. Bending the knees, soles of the feet are touching the mat. Make your way back. Walk the shoulders away from the ears. Bring the arms to a cactus pose or straight out in a T formation. And then just easy movement of the legs from side to side to neutralize the spine. And then from here, bringing those knees back to center. Slide the arms down so that they're alongside the body but separated by 1 inch or 2. The palms are facing the ceiling. Maybe it would feel good to walk the shoulders away from the ears again. And then straightening out the legs, keeping a slight separation and letting the feet fall away from the midline. We have landed in our Shavasana position. Eyes are closed. Everything is relaxed. Finding heaviness in the whole body. Bringing your awareness back to those closed eyes and returning to the intention that you set at the beginning of practice. Repeating it to yourself mentally 3 times. Trusting that if you can visualize it, you have started creating it. Bringing awareness back to your breath, deepening it, bringing awareness back to your body, wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes. Inhaling to take a nice big stretch. Exhaling to roll over to one side, whichever side feels best for you. And then pressing yourself up to a seated position. Bringing your hands to the heart center. And bowing inward. Namaste. Some of you know that in the practices that I do in the studio, I always offer intuition cards for people to come up and choose. And so today in this practice from my home that I'm sharing with you, I will choose one intuition card for all of us. If it resonates with you, great. And if not, just go with whatever is happening for you right now. So today's goddess card is Isis, past life. The situation involves your past life memories. We always learn from the past. Have a lovely day. Namaste.